Quest presents an unabridged recording of From Green to Blue by Jonathan Cox, narrated by Luke R. Francis. Chapter 1. Thursday, 23rd of June, 1983. A figure dropped from the right and appeared on the pavement 50 yards ahead of us. It was a young black lad who took one glance in our direction and was on his toes. Dawn responded instantly, throwing her hat off and sprinting after him while she spoke in short, rapid bursts into her radio. Chasing suspect, Belgrade Road towards the high road. Instinctively, I began to run too, and in a few paces was into my stride and overtaking my instructor. As the lad neared the high road, I knew I was closing on him. At the junction, he turned right, and no more than 10 seconds later, I swept round the corner without breaking stride, but as I looked along the road and beyond a crowded bus stop, there was no sign of him. I slowed my pace, but after a short distance knew there was no longer any point. My prey had disappeared into thin air. Not quite 30 seconds after it had started, the chase was over. I stopped and turned around, frustrated that, once again, I had let my instructor down. As I strolled back slowly, there was a sudden commotion amongst the crowd at the bus stop. People had formed a rough circle around some exciting but hidden event and were jostling for position. What I heard as I drew near, however, put urgency into my step. "Leave him alone, he ain't done nothing. Fuck off, pig, he's been here all the time." I pushed my way through the crowd and caught glimpses of Dawn rolling around the floor, struggling with a black youth in his mid to late teens. The youth was trying to get to his feet, but Dawn had wrapped herself around him and had her right arm around his chest. But his jacket was slowly coming off, and when it did, he would be able to escape. I had to get there. This was the opportunity I'd been waiting for to prove myself. "Get out of the way, let me through," I growled. Sensing freedom, the youth suddenly threw his head backwards and caught Dawn on the nose with a deep, bone-breaking crack. Stubbornly, she refused to let go. As I was clearing the crowd, a hand grabbed the tail of my tunic and checked my forward momentum. "Fuck off," I spat. I swung around, looking for the hand's owner, but whoever it was had wisely decided to let go. As I turned back, I saw the youth had got to his feet. Dawn was on her knees, her arms now gripping around his shins in a poor imitation of a rugby tackle. Her eyes were closed and blood poured from her nose and covered her face. The youth was still looking down when my clenched fist met the underside of his jaw. There was a definite crack, followed by a collective gasp from the onlookers. At first the youth went up, briefly, and then he fell like a stone, unconscious, directly on top of Dawn.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?